So, I was browsing through good old Reddit, and I was looking on it's like a therapist forum, and someone was talking about whether or not it's ethical to do YouTube videos about narcissistic personality disorder. So, I decided I wanted to address this up front on my channel. I was kind of surprised, but yet not, to see a lot of pushback at the idea of therapists publishing content on NPD or narcissistic personality disorder. And there was some mixed opinions, and some of them were saying it's unethical. And I think part of their problem was that they felt like it enabled the public to stigmatize people with NPD or narcissism, and that was unethical. And here's my response to that. This is my response generally to personality disorders. They will create their own reputation and stigma far more effectively than some therapists on YouTube. They have the reputation that they have. What I'm saying is that they already have a reputation, they already have a stigma, and it's due largely to their own behaviors and not anything that the therapist community has done. And here's the thing when it comes to therapist ethics, okay? There are specific ethical codes, and we are bound to follow them. And it, as far as I know, has not been updated to reflect any of that. But as I've attended conferences and talked to the licensing individuals, those who review ethical complaints, the consensus is clear. When it comes to ethics, there's a lot of gray area. A lot. There's a ton. And so this is one of those things where it's like, it's kind of a gray area. And here's my response to, because I do believe that we should be making YouTube videos on narcissism. And I guess the fear is that therapists that do this or psychologists that do this are going to do it for their own profit. And my concern is this, is the effect that narcissism and narcissistic types have on those around them, children and the kids, their kids. And because I do a lot of work with teens and kids, I see these kids whose self-esteem has just been decimated and destroyed before it ever had a chance or opportunity to get off the ground. The catastrophic effects of a child's development enacted by someone who has NPD, narcissism, is really disturbing. What disturbs me even more is the lack of insight by other therapists that this dynamic is stark, raving, horrible, and affects the kids involved. And it troubles me that a group of therapists might be more so concerned about stigmatizing narcissism instead of protecting children. Because and this is just sort of the nature of the business. This is just sort of the I mean, when it comes to NPD, there's not near, and child abuse especially, there's not nearly enough done to protect kids. There's just not. And this is, to me, is just a reflection of that troubling culture that not even therapists might stop and say, hang on, we need greater, more pervasive education and greater assertiveness towards this issue. If you've ever been with a narcissist or a narcissistic type, because I have, they can be really aggressive. I mean really aggressive. If you have any aversion to conflict, hostility, if you try to seek to be agreeable, then they are, they can be really, really disruptive. And I've butted heads with a few of them. One of them, I butted heads with a guy who I'm sure was a narcissist last year because he disagreed with my assessment of his child. And he demanded to speak to me on the phone alone, privately. And when I acquiesced to his request, he screamed at me. Screamed. And I have a tendency to exaggerate. I'm not going to lie. But he was extremely aggressive. And it was easy to see why this culture exists around narcissists. That they have a tendency to dominate, intimidate, and bully. And if they do it to full-grown adults, think of what they do to kids. So to me, I'm troubled that therapists are more so concerned about protecting the reputation of narcissists than children, and keeping kids safe and protected from child abuse. And so the nature of personality disorders is that they are extremely sensitive. And they can be extremely aggressive and extremely hostile. I have gotten some nasty, nasty stuff come my way. I've been more than once on the receiving end of borderline and narcissistic rage. You're a therapist, you shouldn't be doing that. I do what I do because we need greater education, awareness, and less fear around treating these disorders and treating these broken systems where kids are the primary victims. So I really wanted to kind of put that out there because there's a lot of perhaps controversy on what therapists should or should not say in regards to people with personality disorders. I, as a professional, am often troubled by what seems to be a flagrant, almost protection or just kind of folding to people who have personality disorders in order to remain agreeable, in order to avoid conflict. And again, the primary victims in these situations are often the kids. Just wanted to kind of put that out there. So thanks for watching this. Please help me grow my channel. I would really appreciate it. You know what to do. If you want to ask me a specific question regarding mental illness, mental health, therapy, personality disorders, whatever, you can send me an email. It's in the description below. If you want specific advice on something, I generally will tend to avoid something like that, just so you know. But thank you again for watching.